more on this. Let's go to Chief Innovation Officer at Boston Children's Hospital and ABC News medical contributor, Dr. John Brownstein. Dr. Brownstein, thanks for being here.
Morning, Diane.
So we know that Pfizer is now launching phase 2 and 3 of their trials for kids 5 to 11. So what do you think is the loose timeline for when these vaccines might actually be available?
Yeah, well, this is really exciting news. We're finally seeing the trials, the phase 2, 3 clinical trials for our younger kids. And this means that they're going to actually bring in a lot more children to study the effects of these vaccines. About 4,500 children at 90 clinical trial sites are actually around the world. We'll see some children get placebo and some get the active vaccine. And this is all about trying to study the vaccine safety and side effects and make sure that the vaccine produces antibody response that is in line with what we've seen with older kids. What's really important here is these studies aren't about preventing infections because we know the levels are so low in the community and kids don't get as sick. So this is all about making sure that we see an immune response in kids that is equivalent. But we expect to see the results of this by September for the kids 5 to 11, then kids 2 to 5, probably shortly after that, and maybe the kids 6 months to 2 years, October or November. And you know that Pfizer, as soon as they release results, they go for that authorization. So I expect that we'll see some good results and probably see, these vaccines in arms of our children, early fall. And remember, this is an important milestone because our kids, while they don't get as sick, they're important in terms of transmission. They're important in terms of us getting to herd immunity, and it's important for them to get back into school. So all very exciting news and encouraging to see these trials moving forward.
And these children are getting 2 shots, but at a lower dose than what's given to the older sector. So should we still expect to see the same kind of side effects that we experienced with our vaccines?
Right. So what the drug companies are trying to do is minimize side effects while maximizing benefits. And they did this phase 1 trial where they looked at just over 100 children, and they looked at different doses, 10, 20, 30 milligrams, and even an optional 3 milligram dose in the youngest kids. And based on that, they identified that, lower dose, these 2 10 milligram doses, which is about a third of what the adolescents or adults are getting, would be appropriate. And even for our youngest children, only about 3 milligrams. Our expectation is kids are smaller and lower body weight, so they need less vaccine to get a protective response. And what we saw from those trials is, these vaccines are overall still very safe. Now, we have to wait for these larger trials to come and to really inspect the data. And we want parents to be, engaged and looking at the information to make the right decisions for their kids. But we fully expect that these vaccines will be incredibly safe for the kids, just like they've been for our older kids and the adults as well.
And we heard there in Eva's piece how schools are now grappling with what to do for the fall, masks, no masks. So what's your guidance to parents and children who may feel uneasy with all this uncertainty?
Yeah, it's really complicated, and it's unfortunate that we have this patchwork of guidance. We're waiting for CDC to come up with blueprints, and that probably will only come for the fall. So for now, we're just sort of staying the course, but we think that schools really should look very different this coming fall. We know that we're going to have low numbers of cases. We know that we're going to have vaccines that are readily available across adults and maybe even in our kids. And so, for now, kids 5 and older probably, need to continue wearing masks. But when we look at the fall, we think that, the mask can come off, especially as cases fall maybe below 5 per 100,000 and about 2/3 of our adults are immunized. Obviously, for outdoors, it's totally different. We know that the data shows that it's safe for our kids to be playing outside without masks on. And so barring anything unexpected with new variants, I really think that we're going to see a very different school year for our kids with no masks, hopefully in places with good ventilation. But yes, we'll be waiting for that CDC blueprint to really tell us, what schools will look like in the fall.
And I noticed you said barring new variants. How concerned should we be about this Delta variant? And what kind of precautions should families with unvaccinated children take right now?
Yeah, I have to say I'm, concerned about the Delta variant. I know that the vaccines work really well, but look about what's happening in the UK. The Delta variant is now about 60% of all cases. The early data that we've seen shows that it's more transmissible and also more severe, and that potentially you really need both doses of vaccine to get the full protection. And so this places more burden on us getting the vaccine. And so it's available for our older kids and our adults. And if those people get the vaccine, then it protects our younger kids. And, this is, again, again, we keep stressing this, it's all about getting that vaccine. It's available. It's readily available in the US compared to other countries. And we know that that will be what gets us out of the pandemic. And so we can't stop taking this for granted. I know that we're a little bit far off from that 70% of one dose milestone that Biden is looking for by July 4th. We're slowly maybe not going to hit it. Again, I can't stress enough that this vaccine is going to be what protects us from these variants going forward.
All right, Dr. John Brownstein, always great to have you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.